students and the parents, you all must be getting very ready for the exams, and must be also, some of you may be getting a bit anxious as the exams are approaching. But I know you have worked hard the whole year, so everything will be good. So, best of luck. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep yourself calm in the exam hall, because it is very important, you know, that if you are calm, then your brain will work at the optimum level, and therefore you will be able to retain more, you will be able to give a better output, and therefore your your results and what you write on the papers will be better than if you become anxious or suffer from any panic attacks. So, how do we keep ourselves calm? And trust me, I have been through this just as you are going to be. And now, being 47 years old, I've also done many exams in my life, starting from the matriculation exam, the GCSEs, then, of course, the class 12, then the medical exams, post graduation, and whatnot. But the principles always remain the same. And it is very important that we keep calm. Now, the calmness in the examination hall does not begin just in the examination hall. It starts right from that morning itself. It is important to have a good sleep and wake up in good time, have a shower, have a good breakfast, try and brush up on whatever you can, but not at the expense of your breakfast. Try and have lots of fluids so that you are well hydrated, because there is medical evidence that if you have got enough water, enough fluids in your body, that will also help in your brain functioning well. Then make sure that you arrive for your examination in good time. Leave a bit early as you can, so that you can be prepared for all sorts of adversities. For example, you don't want to deal with a punctured tire on your way to the exam, which may then leave you with an anxious time of not reaching there. So make sure you reach there on time. Do have a chit chat with your friends, because that will also help you calm down. But try and avoid discussing about what they have prepared and what you have prepared, because then you might find, or you may feel, that your preparation is not the same as theirs, and that might make you more anxious. So এইকাৰণে ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট যে ৰাতিপুৱা সোনকালে উঠা, ভালকে কিবা এটা খোৱা, ব্ৰেকফাষ্ট কৰা, ভালকে পানী বা চৰবত কিবা তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ বস্তু খোৱা, তাৰপিছত সময়তকে পাৰিলে অলপ আগতে পোৱাকে এক্সামিনেশ্যন হলত যোৱা, যাতে বাটত কোনো ধৰণৰ দিগদাৰ হ'লেও যাতে এক্সাম হল গৈ পাওঁতে একো দেৰি নহয়। আৰু গৈ যেতিয়া বন্ধু বান্ধৱক লগ পাবা, তেতিয়া বেলেগ ধৰণৰ চিম্পল কথা পাতিবা, কিন্তু পৰাপক্ষত সিহঁতে কেনেকৈ পঢ়িছে, তুমি কেনেকৈ পঢ়িছা, কি আজি এক্সামত আহিব পাৰে, তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথাবোৰ নেপাতাই ভাল। It's better to avoid those topics. Then you enter the examination hall. When you are allowed to, make sure that you have got everything in your hand. Get extra pens, extra pencils, your compass box if needed, and all the things that you would need for your exam. To it is important that you do have everything that you need, otherwise that might also lead to anxiety. When you sit yourself down, make sure that your chair is comfortable, or the bench you are sitting in a comfortable position, because you'll be sitting in that position for 3 hours, or at least 2.5 hours depending on your exam, and you don't end up having a backache or a neck ache during the exam. So make yourself comfortable, take some deep breaths, try and put in your prayers to anyone you believe in, and but most importantly, believe in yourself. This is your day. This is the day you've been waiting for. You worked hard the whole year. Today is the day to show how hard you worked and how well you can do in your exam. Forget whatever you have not read. Don't think about the things that you don't think you know well, because there will come the time when you might just feel that you don't know anything. I felt like that too. So, but important is that you believe in yourself. There are many more things that you know than the things that you don't know. So don't get disturbed by the things what might happen, because the question of if and but will always be there, and there is never going to be a straight answer for this. When the question papers are distributed, take a deep breath before you open the question paper. Don't open it before the invigilator asks you to do so, because that's the way it is. And when you go through the question paper, I always had the strategy that I would look at all the pages of the question paper. I would I would look at the number of questions that's in there, and spend maybe the first 2 minutes, if needed, just going through the whole question paper, skim read it, so that you can plan it in your mind, or what we call as mind mapping. So you know which questions carry how many marks, what's the total number of questions, so that you can divide your time accordingly. So question পেপাৰখন পোৱাৰ লগে লগে প্ৰথম কুৱেশ্যনটো আনচাৰ কৰা ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰাতকে মই এইটো কম যে গোটেই কুৱেশ্যন পেপাৰখিনি এবাৰ এবাৰ চাই লোৱা, কাৰণ তেতিয়া তুমি নিজকে প্লেন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে ভাল হ'ব. It's always a good idea just to know how many questions are there, so that you can divide your time, and also to know which questions to attempt the best. The other thing is, I would start off with not necessarily the first question, but the question I feel most confident about, and that might be the second or the third question. I would also try and do the questions that carry more marks first, then going for the questions which just carry 1 or 2 marks. Because that way, even if you run out of time, you still have covered the majority of the paper. But it is important that you do try to attempt every question, even if you don't feel confident about it. Don't leave any single question, because if you try and write, there is at least a 50% chance that you will get some marks. On the other hand, if you leave it blank, then there is no chance of securing any marks. And as far as I know, there are no negative marking in your exams. So there is no harm in trying, even if you write a wrong answer. This is not the end of the world. So do try and attempt every question. Try and start off with the questions that you feel most confident about, and try and put a time clock, a timer in your mind. You will also have your watch if you're allowed to, but you should have a timer in your mind that you won't be devoting more than 5 or 6 minutes to that particular question so that you don't get carried out about it. So once you've done that question, then move on to the next question. And maybe before you move on to the next question, maybe just for 5 seconds, just close your eyes and reiterate to yourself that yes, you can do it. Take deep breaths after answering every question. If you feel you've forgotten something, don't worry. Just leave it there. It will come back to you. You then move on to the next question. Not necessarily next in the chronological order, but the next one that you wish to do. So that's the way I would proceed. And whenever you feel that you need to take a break, you need to have a glass of water, you need to take a sip of water, do have it. That distraction also helps in refocusing your mind. Often you will find that the moment you distract yourself, you are able to focus better. So don't think about your results or what you're going to score when you are doing your exam. That is to be analyzed later. For now, you just have to focus on doing the questions. Like Lord Krishna says in the Gita, don't worry about the results, just do your best. Just keep doing your best, and the results will come by itself. So, if you have to go to the toilet, do go to the toilet. Try not to speak to anyone because if you do speak, it might be illegal, but more importantly, it might just take your mind off on a different tangent. So, but if you do feel like going to the toilet or anything, then do go rather than suffering from a tight bladder, which will then cause more problems. So, that's the way I would proceed. I would do one question after another in the way I feel most comfortable. And then, if you do manage to finish on time, then do make sure you revise your answers. You do your revision as many times as possible, as much as the time in the exam hall allows. If you see others asking for more and more extra sheets of paper, don't get distracted. That doesn't mean that they are doing anything better than you. It's just that maybe your handwriting is smaller, maybe you're writing a more concise answer. Sorry, maybe you're writing a more concise answer, so therefore you are not needing as many papers. So don't get distracted by what others are doing, just focus on your own. I would strongly refrain from trying to copy anything because this is illegal, and the last thing you'd want to do is to get expelled from the exam hall or be told off because that is going to be far worse than achieving a few marks less. So just believe in yourself and write whatever you know. If you get a writer's block or you get a certain mental block that you can't just think of anything to answer that particular question, then just move on to the next question or go on to something where you think you can answer it better. So once you revise it, be prepared to make any changes if it needs to be. Do try and maintain good handwriting as good as possible under the circumstances, but most importantly, it has to be legible, which means that it is something which the examiner will be able to read without putting in much effort. Try not to overwrite. If you do overwrite, then just a single line across that particular word is better than just scribbling it off by just circling your pen over and over the word. So just one single cross against the word to delete it and add something else. Do try and look into your punctuations because the punctuations matter. And when you are writing, just write as if you are trying to explain something to your teacher. And as I mentioned yesterday, if there is a possibility of adding a diagram, then do please add the diagram. You don't necessarily have to be a fantastic artist to do so, but as long as your diagram or your pictorial representation can explain that particular theory or that particular equation or that particular problem asked in the question, that will give you added marks. So just try and uh, draw as much as possible. Keep your papers neat and clean. Take deep breaths in between. Just try and be chilled. I know it's not easy. It's an exam at the end of the day, and particularly if you are running behind or you are not doing as well as you had expected in the first couple of questions, it might make you feel anxious, but that is actually the time where you need to keep your control. And if you can keep control of your emotions, if you can keep control of your anxiety, you will indeed do very, very well. So I would start off in the early morning, have a good breakfast, have lots of fluids, get to exam hall before time, chit chat with your friends, try and be chilled out and relaxed, get to inside the exam hall, make sure that you are sitting comfortably, you've got all your things with you, all the accessories that you would need. Once you get your question paper, do flick through all the pages to make a mental map of how many questions there are and which questions carry how many marks. And then when you start, do start from the questions that you feel most confident about and the ones that carry maximum marks. And then you move on to the next question that you feel confident about. So do all the questions that you feel you know well first before embarking on the ones that you feel a bit less confident about. Once you are done, there's no point in just lingering on and on. So do try and leave enough time for your revision, and when you are revising, be prepared to make any changes that needs be. Having said that, if it's an MCQ and you have absolutely no idea, then listen to your gut instinct, listen to what your mind tells you, that if there is a question with A, B, C, D options, and at the first sight, your heart has told you or your mind has told you that the option should be A, then go for A. Don't change it to something else because it is more than likely that A or your first choice is the right choice. So try and revise your paper as many times as you can. Make sure your handwriting is legible, your copy looks neat and tidy, you are not making too many folds in your paper, you are not scribbling too many times, you just make one single line across the words that you want deleted. And when it's time, take a deep breath, say your blessings, and give your paper to the invigilator and just walk out quietly from the room. And that's it. You are done for the day. Don't think about what you have done. Don't go on analyzing about what you have written and what you haven't with your friends, because the more you do, the more anxious you will get again, because their answers might be different to yours, but not necessarily the right one. So you will know that anyway when the results come, or you can do that at the end of all your exams when you do your postmortem, when you do your analysis. So once that exam is done, that's it. You forget about that. As I used to say to my medical students, when we have these OSCEs or the oral viva stations, we say you've done that station, you now forget about it, you go on to your next station, to the next race, to the next exam, and you don't keep lingering about what happened yesterday or what happened in the last exam. Tomorrow is another exam, or it may be day after tomorrow, but it's another exam, another race, another battle to fight, another day to sail through, and I would repeat the same strategies, and I am sure you will do very, very well. So I want to wish you all the best from myself, Dr. Bhaskar Bora, CEO of Aspire Academy, and I would hope to see you in your new term studying with us, learning with fun at Aspire Academy online coaching, where we are providing online coaching, very high quality online coaching at a very affordable price. And this can be used just by itself or to supplement the tuitions that you are already planning to take. But either way, I am with you throughout your exam. I will be with you every single day. And I wish you all the best. And I am sure you will do very, very well. I am sure you will. My prayers are with you. My blessings are with you. And I wish you all the best. Look after yourself. Take it easy. Do well. Bye bye.